In this video, you're going to learn how to go from zero to a fully fledged app in Cursor. We're going to get started with the first step, which is done a little bit differently than you might think. So instead of starting in Cursor, we actually are going to start in Grok. You also can use other AI apps such as ChatGPT, but I like using Grok. I think it does a good job with this step. So what we're going to do is ask for a PRD, which stands for a product requirements document. And what this does is give us a really thorough initial prompt to give to our Cursor agent to actually get started. So here's the prompt that I like to use. I like to say what coding language we're going to use. I like to use Node.js. We're going to build a simple recipe tracking app, and the database connection will be Supabase. Now, I could get into more details of exactly what I want, but for the purposes of this example, this is totally fine. We want to turn think on to give the model more time to think and give us a better result. And then we're going to go ahead and send that message. So I'll pause the video while it writes the PRD. While the PRD is generating, I want you to go back to Cursor really quick, open up a Finder window in Mac or the equivalent in Windows, and just go ahead and create a folder. This is where we're going to store the files of our app. So I'm just storing it on my desktop for now. And I just called it Test App Cursor, but you can call it anything that you want. Then if we go back to Cursor, we can open that project. So click Open Project, get that folder, and open it. So now I've opened that folder in Cursor, and this is where our app is going to live and where the files are going to be written into. So here we are back in Grok, and you can see that it finished. And here we have the PRD. So what you can do is just review it, make sure that it all looks okay. And then once it does, we'll paste it into Cursor. So I'm going to review it really quickly. So it all looks good to me. It basically is just telling us what data model, so the data types that we're going to have, such as ingredients, instructions, that type of thing, how we're going to create a recipe, get the recipes, update recipes, that kind of thing as well, setting it up, project initialization, database setup, that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and copy the entire thing up at the top. I'm going to go over to Cursor and paste it in. Then we're going to make sure you're on agent. The difference between the modes is we have agent mode to actually just write code for you. Ask mode is the ability to ask it a question, but not have it actually write code. And then edit is, I actually never use edit. I think edit's kind of like ask, but it'll make changes that you can approve or not approve. But we're going to be using agent for most of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and then also select the model. So the default model is auto. I'm going to go into Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental 325. Now, the models are always changing and improving. So by the time you watch this video, there might be more options. I am right now preferring this or Gemini 2.5 Pro Max, which just costs 5 cents per request. So it's not a little more expensive. But let's use this one, which is included in our plan for now. And then maybe later on, we'll use Pro Max. The nice thing about Pro Max is that it includes a lot more context into the prompt, so it's going to generally get you better results. I'm finding Gemini to be better than Cursor 3.7. I find that it's a little bit less likely to kind of go off the rails. So here we go. It's asking if it should run the command. I'm going to say yes. Let's do it. Pause the video. So we're going to run the command. And one thing to note is you can always start your project in Lovable or Bolt and then move over to Cursor. But in this video, we're going to do it all from Cursor. So I'm going to say, yes, continue, no need to ask. Something else I noticed is that Gemini model is more likely to ask you if you want to continue or not, which is different from the Claude model, which kind of just does it. So as you use different models, you kind of learn different things. So right off the bat here, it's set up our .env file, which is where we're going to need to put our Supabase information. So I'm going to just go in another tab and open Supabase. If you don't have a Supabase account already, you can create one, and then for free, you can get started. I'm going to go, if you don't have a project already, you can click New Project. I'm going to go into this project and restore it. It's a project that I had previously, but again, you would just create one from scratch. And you can create 2 projects for free in Supabase. And then here we have the API keys that I was looking for, which will show up here on the dashboard. So I need the URL right here. I'm going to copy that and paste that in. And then the Supabase key is a non-public key. That's what it's looking for there. And then I will paste that in. Okay. And then let's see what Gemini wants us to do. So it says now set up the database, update the files. So what I'm going to say is I added the Supabase API keys. If you want to give me the SQL, I can run it in Supabase. So this is a helpful tip. It's going to basically make it easy for us to add the database tables into Supabase. So if you think about your app, you have your front end, which is what users see, and then your back end, which is where the data is stored. So here it gave me this SQL, which we can run in the SQL editor. So I'm going to go ahead and copy it. So you just press that little copy button there. We'll go back to Supabase, and I'm just going to pause the video until my app is restored and ready. So then all you have to do is go to your SQL editor, paste that in. So this is the SQL, and it's creating the tables that we need. I'm going to run. Okay, there's an error. So what I'm going to do is copy that, go back to cursor. I'm going to say I got this error when trying to run the SQL. And then it's giving us this updated SQL. We'll try that. I'll paste it in. I'll run. And then now success. Great. And then now if I go to the table editor, under recipes, we can see it has the text, ingredients, instructions, created at, updated at. So we have this recipe table now. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to say that worked. Now please build out the initial site according to the PRD. And what I'm going to do for this is let's use Pro Max. I know it costs 5 cents per request. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it just to show you. I tend to like to use it for kind of bigger asks, and it just tends to give me better results. So let's pause the video and let it start building. Okay, so now it's asking for clarification. Again, like I said, Gemini seems to ask for more clarification. I'm going to say, I guess maybe it wants me to run or I'm going to ask, okay, this is a good chance to go back to ask. For ask, I'm going to switch to Claude 3.7 Sonnet because I like this model and I like it better for asking because if you just had it on the agent, it might start going off the rails. So I'm going to say, what is next to do before I can test the app? I'm also going to ask one more question. Is the front end built out so users can actually use it? Okay, I'm gonna ask this question. So what I did was I started a new chat. You do this just by pressing this button. And now I'm asking it to do the front end development so a user can use the app. So it's asking us to run this command to install what needs to be installed in the app for it to work. And I'll run this command again here. So what happened was the initial PRD said that the front end development was out of scope. So what I did was essentially add this new chat so that PRD is no longer kind of something that the AI is taking instructions from. So here we go. It's going to continue building it out. And I like that this Gemini model has this kind of planning feature built in here. Okay, so it says it has built out the basic front end with user authentication using Supabase magic links. So then we can test it out. So I want to do one thing. If we go over to Supabase, we go to authentication, we go to sign in, sign up. Under email, I want to make sure confirm email is turned off. This is something really important so that we can more easily test this. And I don't want to use magic links because then I don't have email set up with Supabase right now. So I'm going to say, please update authentication to just email password with no email confirmation needed. It's always something we could change in the future. But for this basic testing, this is how I would like to set this up. Okay, so it says that it updated this. Then what we need to do is use this command in the terminal to actually test out our app. So to do this, we're going to toggle this panel up right here on the top right. Now you know you're inside your folder because this is the name of the folder. And then I'm going to say npm run dev. Okay, there were errors, which is fine. So we're going to add that to the chat. Just click that button, add that to the chat. Now it's in there, and I'm going to say, I got this error. How do I solve it? So what it's going to do is have to install some packages into our app to make it work. So it's going to do that. We're going to run this. We're going to run this again, npm run dev. And if there's any other packages that Cursor says you need to run or any errors, just copy it, put it in the chat. You could switch to ask if you want of how to fix it. And then it might just have you install something on your system. So here now it's saying it's on this local host on our system, localhost 5173. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Okay, here it is. Looks pretty bad, but I can see recipe tracker sign it. Let's see if I can get in here. Sign up. Okay, it says I'm logged in. So, all right, what I'm going to do now is say, take a screenshot of this. This is a tip that I like to do. Go back to Cursor. So I'm going to say, I logged in. This is all I see. Please add the recipe tracking functionality in the front end and back end. So I'll pause the video while it starts to build this out. Okay, so it might be confused because we already have the table. So I'm going to say, I'm actually going to go back to Supabase. We'll go to the SQL editor. I'm going to copy this SQL that we pasted in, and I'm going to say, let me stop this actually and reject so that it doesn't make any changes. I'm going to say, I already added this table to Supabase, and then paste in that SQL. And I'll say also, please make sure the code base has a record of this. Okay. So I'll send that message. So that way it knows what we already did because it's in a new chat. So it might not have known that we did that. Okay, so it's giving me basically some updates to the SQL so that we can have user IDs associated, which is fine. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to go over here and paste it in the SQL editor. So this is how you go back and forth with making changes to the database. There are ways to connect it more seamlessly to Cursor, but I like doing it this way so that I have control. I'm going to click run. Okay, so I'm going to say I got this error. Okay, so it's telling us to just get rid of this line here, the grants line, which I think is just grant usage at the bottom. So I will delete that out and run. And now it was successful. So I'm going to say, great, it now ran correctly. All right, so let's go back to our local host app. We're getting this error, which is fine. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to say, I'm getting this error. And I'm going to switch to Gemini 2.5 Pro Max because I like to do this to debug. Yes, it costs a little bit more money, but I like doing it just because it'll save time. Okay, so it's asking us to restart the server. So to do that, we're just going to do Control-C. You can always ask the AI how to restart the server if you're confused or if you're on on Windows, for example, or if that doesn't work. And then if we go over here, we can see it can't be reached because localhost server is not started. So then I'll do npm run dev again, which starts it. I'll refresh. Okay, so we're still getting this error. It's showing up here as well. So I'm going to copy it and say, still getting this error even when restarting. Okay, so a little bit more debugging here. I said that the page was blank, but no errors. So it says to check the console. So to do that, you just have to right click, go to inspect, go to console at the top. And now here we go. So it's telling us the error that we're getting. So then I'll paste that in. This is the console error. And hopefully that helps solve it here. So now I'm getting another error which says Supabase URL and anon should be in the env file, but it is. So I'm going to say even though it is there and see if that helps guide it. Okay, so now if I go back, I can see that the recipe tracker is working. At least I'm logged in. Let's see if I can add a recipe. So say pizza. I'll say dough, sauce, cheese, just really simple. Put it together and cook. Let's add the recipe. And there we go. Okay. Now the recipe is saved, and we now have a really basic app in Cursor. Of course, it doesn't look very good, but if we go to our database, I will go to the table editor and click on recipes. We can see that we successfully saved a recipe to my user ID. So I would say that's pretty cool. As the next step, why don't we plan out a design to make this look really good? So now let's go and start a new chat. And what I'm going to do is say it all works, but please plan out a beautiful design for the front end. The design should look like it was generated or created by a designer who works for Apple. And then let's use the ask mode first. I'm going to use the 2.5 Pro Max model just to get the best possible result. And now it's going to plan out the design. Okay, so now we have a plan. Now I'm going to switch to the agent model. I'm going to say, now execute on this plan and update the design of the front end of the app. And I'll pause the video while it actually builds this out. Okay, amazing. So here we are. We're back in localhost. It made all the changes and we just had to go back and refresh. Occasionally you have to restart your server to get the changes updated, but I can see that it did update. And this looks really nice and really clean. So now we can see our recipes, the instructions. We can create a new one. So let's say pasta. Boil the pasta, boil water. Doesn't really matter. I just want to test the functionality. So if I add the recipe, there we go. Now I have my pasta recipe and it all looks really clean and nice. We could add image functionality. That would make sense for a recipe tracker, but for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to add that in. Now, the last thing that you just should be aware of is that when you're building with Cursor, you want to connect to GitHub. I'm going to do a separate video on how to connect your Cursor repository to GitHub. You can also ask Cursor how to do it. I was starting to ask it here to see, just curious what it would tell me. But that's the next step. And then when you do that, you want to make sure every time your app is working, push it to GitHub so you have a version of your code that works. Then if you're building in Cursor and something isn't working, you can always roll back and basically revert back to what was working previously. So this is really helpful and an important tip for building in Cursor. So I'm going to stop there. If you've made it this far, you have a good idea of how to get started from scratch in Cursor, building a real working app. This app is connected to Supabase, so it has a real database. Users can actually log in. And now you have a base that you can build on top of using Cursor. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all, please leave a comment below. Let us know if there's anything else you want to see in the future. Subscribe to our YouTube channel right here for free to get more content about AI and no code. If you want to take your AI and no code skills to the next level, check out No Code MBA. We have dozens of in-depth courses covering how to build apps, automations, and websites from zero to fully functioning apps and websites and automations taught by experts in the industry. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video.